We would like to move on to the presentations by each of the ministries. First of all, we would like to invite Mr. Kozo Ibata, Director for Policy Planning at the MIC. My name is Ibata from MIC. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I would like to briefly explain about MIC's initiatives in open data. This is the overall picture overview of the initiatives. We have basically 3 pillars. First is the demonstration projects for open data. So the basis of open data is the common API. So we need to establish that and develop international standardization. We need to make a rule for secondary use, and we need to visualize the benefits of open data. So for these purposes, we have started the demonstrations for open data last year, and we are working together with other related entities on promoting open data promotion consortium. So in addition to the results of the demonstration, we study the technical specifications of open data, the rules on secondary use, and the significance and possibilities on open data. And the third pillar, this is the MIC's own initiatives. Because we have our own data, so we open up our own the internal data as well. So for example, information and telecommunication white paper and the statistics database, which we also hold. So we open this up. So let me briefly explain each one of them by item. First is the demonstration project. We started from last year. We had 5, this year 7. We had different themes, and we collaborate with these different local municipalities to carry out these demonstration projects. Let me introduce some of the initiatives that we undertake this year. This is related to municipalities, administration, information demonstration. We collaborate with Yokohama City and Sabae City. So in the information that municipalities have, what information is available, we investigate that, and on top of that, we want to see whether we can open up the information with needs. If there's not possible, if we need to have some restrictions, then we identify the reason. And after that, we build a simple system for information distribution, collaboration, infrastructure. And in this case, we have decided to develop manuals for the civil servants as well, as to see what procedures is necessary in order to promote this. And in addition to that, local municipalities, open data was modeled. For Yokohama City is a large city, Sabae City is a regional rural city. So hopefully these models can be spread and rolled out throughout the nation. The second demonstration project has to do with public transportation. Last year, 2012, we started this project. This year, we work on Tokyo, Shinjuku stations, and the Haneda Airport. So with the cooperation of different transportation companies in the Metro Tokyo area, we look at the real-time transportation information, position information of the buses and trains, and other location information of the airports and train station terminals. So hopefully with the opening of that, the general public can use this data. And the third demonstration is the tourism demonstration. This will be implemented in Kyoto. This is not just about simple tourism information, but mobility information will be added. So on a real-time, dynamic data will be handled in this project. So these are all related to the demonstration projects. Next is the opening up the data of the MIC unique or MIC's data. One is information telecommunication white paper. Every year MIC publishes this white paper. So after 2008, we have been trying to open up the data after 2008. In principle, we will allow for free secondary use. As for numerical data, there's no copyright. We will make the declaration. We made that clear. In terms of format of the data, it's not just a conventional access. We will also provide with the CSV format, which is better for machine reading. In terms of statistics, we will also open this data. Statistics is probably one of the largest database in Japan, and so we have been working to promote secondary use of this data. So as one of the initiatives in June, we have decided to code the API function of the statistics data. From October, we will strengthen GIS function of the statistics, and also we will study the possibility of on-demand use of the statistics creation functions and policies. And finally, I would like to explain about the open data application contest. I said earlier that we have 7 demonstration projects this year. Using these open data, we will conduct this application app contest from January to July. Each of these demonstration project data will be opened up. So from February, we will be inviting people to submit for this. And I know that the participants today will be participating in these app contests, and I hope more will participate. So Cabinet Secretary and METI and MIC have been working, promoting this together in collaboration. So we will continue to collaborate with related ministries so that we can be proponent of the Japan's open data strategy. That is all. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Mr. Ibata, thank you very much.
Next, from Counsellor of National Strategy Office of Information and Communications Technology, Cabinet Secretariat, Mr. Suzuki, please. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Suzuki, Counsellor of National Strategy Office of Information and Communication Technology. I would like to talk about the programs underway at the Cabinet Secretariat, the cross-governmental programs. A number of topics that we're working on this year will be discussed. First, we have made a declaration on becoming the world's most advanced IT nation. This is a new IT strategy, and the cabinet decision was taken in June of this year. Generally speaking, IT is going to be the engine of our economic growth. And this year, based on the new law, government CIO, ministry CIO is going to go across the government, work across the government to try to promote the IT strategy. So this is the idea that's been put together. And the society that we are aiming at, there are threefold. First one is that the creation of new industry to revitalize the economy. The second is safety and security. And number 3 is e-government. Open data. This is public release of public data. In promoting open data, this is part of the promotion of economic revitalization. This has a very important position in the economic strategy. Specifically speaking, when we talk about this declaration on becoming the world's most advanced IT nation, this is the extract which talks about this open data portion. And it defines what open data is. Government and independent administrative agencies, their data that's owned by the organization would be made public, which is machine readable. And based on certain terms of use, it will be made public on the internet. So this is the program underway under this initiative of open data. Various programs are discussed in this text, and the rule will be reviewed starting with this year. And also, one of the important programs underway is that data catalog site. This is a site to search for data that will be made public by different ministries and agencies. And this year will be the trial year, and next year it's going to be a full-scale year. And earlier we heard from Mr. Fujikawa that the aim is that by the end of 2015, we will catch up with other advanced IT nations. So this is a big aim for us. Recently, some decisions have been taken on the international front, Japan's Open Data Charter Action Plan has been developed. In June, there was the G8 summit in the UK, and Open Data Charter was agreed to, in which key data set, high-value data set, such open data promoting highly valuable data's categories have been defined. And for such data, each country, what kind of program would be worked on by each country, the plan was to develop, and there was agreement in October. And the promotion framework of open data, as well as decisions that's been taken so far, is mentioned here. Basically, there's the commitment, key data set, and high-value data set, as mentioned here. If it is key data set, it will be statistics, maps, election, and budget. Such data, as far as such data is considered, open license, open format, and machine-readable data would be made available. From the fall of this year through next year, there's going to be expansion. And this fall, why I said this fall, well, the fall is already now, but we still haven't completed this yet. But the data catalog site, a trial version is already available. So that is why we are saying that some of this will get started in the fall of this year, and it will be full-fledged scale starting next year. So that's a commitment that we have made. And I've talked about this data catalog site, which is a portal site. This is how it is structured. Data that's been made public by different ministries and agencies. Metadata, where the data exists, and URL will be owned in this data catalog site. And by making use of metadata, cross-cutting search would be possible, so that you will be able to obtain the data that you want. So users would be able to make a search. And by the end of this year, we are going to launch this site. We're now making preparations. So the trial version of data catalog site is going to be a trigger to further promote the open data program of the government. Thank you very much.
Suzuki-sama, ありがとうございます。
Mr. Suzuki, thank you very much. Moving on, we have from METI, Mr. Takashi, Wada, Director of IT Project Office of Commerce and Information Policy Bureau. Thank you for the kind introduction. My name is Wada. I'm the Director of IT Projects at METI. I would like to explain about the initiatives of METI. METI, based on the IT strategy headquarters, and its declaration on the creating world's most advanced IT nation, we collaborate with MIC to promote open data. So in terms of our initiatives, I want to first of all show you that we have been working on this before this declaration. We have first of all created Idea Boss in 2009 to collect ideas on the web, and we also did different social experiments for a government. So what we have established was called the Open Government Lab. But after the earthquake in East Japan, we realized that there's a need to establish database to support the restoration and recovery of the disaster sites. So we have began to take initiatives and measures for open data. So, for example, after the summer, because the nuclear power plants were shut down, we had tight power supply during this time. There was a need to understand the demand-supply situation of powers on a real-time basis. So we have, for example, created a site called powersavings.setsuden.com.jp, and mobile app and web app have been processed, and this has resulted in easier to understand information. and this was done by the private sector. So I believe this is one of the early initiatives of private-public cooperation in open data, and we have carried out other different measures. Apologize, I'm not very good at this. Moving on with the slides here. As we promote open data, and speakers before me have mentioned this a number of times, but it's not just about government providing data. We're already aware that this is the diagram of our last year's in our IT integration forum. We have established a task force to study open data and its directions. So you can see that different types of data will be provided, and in terms of we need to look at technology and system for providing this data, and this will be disclosed publicly so that we can gain different opinions and feedback on it. And we develop a data portal site, and we create use cases and share that, and we let the residents and operators utilize this. And then from that, we'll be able to identify needs and issues. So from 1 to 6, this is a cycle of what we need to do in terms of open data. And in terms of the specific measures, METI has its own data. So what we did was we did an inventory of the data, and the information we have received from the inventory, we have established this new website. I think this is first in Japan of such an effort. It's called Open Data METI. data.meti.gojp. So this is METI only data. So it's only 630 data sets. So we need to look at not only what can we open, but we need to also look at technology into opening the data, and we need to collaborate with MIC and also at Cabinet Secretariat, and I think that this will be useful in our collaboration. So for example, one of the characteristics is that by data set, there's a CC license that will be attached, and for each data set, you can visually see how it is handled, or in terms of number of downloads, it will be managed so that you will know the utilization situation. So we're trying to be creative here. And also Open Data METI, this is what we do. There's some characteristics. Let me explain a few. In terms of data search, we use metadata, who is the copyright, what sort of CC license is attached. So this metadata shows the attributes of the data, and by site it's slightly different. So from the developed side of view, it's very difficult to search. So we have to look at the DCAT, which is International Vocabulary Set. And then we also look at the data catalog set, which is being promoted by Cabinet Secretariat. So we looked at its consistency with these different data set levels, and we look at proficiency and we look at efficiency, and we'll be able to cross-diagonally accumulate data and search. So this is called profiling. So this is what we have done. In addition to this, internally, we are discussing and examining this initiative. It's called IMI, Infrastructure for Multi-Layer Interoperability. So for example, at data site, there's a budgetary expenditure or expense. So when there's no outflow of money, there's different vocabulary that's attached to it. For example, disaster sites, when you say diaper, there's diapers for children, that's for adults. If you say 200 diapers, it's for children, but maybe for actually what's needed was for adults. So vocabulary, unless it's consistent, even though many data is open, it's very difficult to use. So in order to share data among multiple organizations, you need to have common vocabulary. So that's what we are trying to do here. So this is the core data part, core vocabulary, which is at the center, which will be necessary and common for all different segments. And then we have the different APIs depending on the subcategories. And also, when you do company registration or domicile registration, there are different Japanese character fonts that are used, and this need to be reconciled. So right now it's not reconcilable. So what we need to do is we need to use the same format and same characters so that we can do a cross search. And IPA, Information Promotion Agency, which is the independent administrative agency under METI, is promoting this initiative. And in terms of creation of use cases, there's different initiatives. I know the MIC is also carrying out many demonstration projects. So I think we have a nice division of roles here. And also, as a place to observe ideas from people, we have Idea-san, which is in also use case contest. MIC and METI co-hosted for the first time in November. In Osaka, Tokyo, and Matsue, we held Idea-san. And in February, we plan to hold use case contest in Tokyo and Osaka. Based on these initiatives, we will develop infrastructure that's necessary to promote open data, and the central government as well as municipalities will promote open data. That is all. Thank you very much, Mr. Wada.